Welcome back to the show. I'm here with my friend Stephen Alfandre. We're touring his newest project, Gabbott's Row, in the ballpark. We discuss design, construction, good architecture, and how to fit amenities in tight spaces. I think you'll enjoy it.
So everyone has a private garage and a private entrance. And what that does is it makes the units a little smaller, a little more attainable, a little more affordable. They don't share any corridors. They have storage.
Were you thinking of this concept when you looked at this lot, or were you thinking maybe I'll do apartments, like a 4/1 or something?
We knew
like
we
that?
wanted to do townhomes,
Yep.
but we couldn't fit 3 rows
Yep.
in this depth.
Yep.
So when we laid this out on it, it almost spoke to us.
Perfectly.
It fit perfectly.
Cool.
Window that lands in the middle of a stair landing. And some people would say you're crazy for doing that. But when you look on the outside, it gives it a much better, cohesive, traditional look. And that's what we really, really wanted. So kind of all the ingredients we're looking for, we want people to be able to have optionality to walk, to bike, to drive, to take public transit.
Yep. So talk about how you got the site. How did you find this?
So we target neighborhoods we know will be a fit for our thesis, walkable, good character. And this one, I just went and knocked on the door. I found the location of the person's home, and rather than send a letter, I went and knocked and introduced myself, and I had an LOI in hand, and they accepted it.
Cool.
That doesn't always happen.
Yeah, well, it never happens for me.
It was a cool story. They were willing sellers, we were willing buyers, and the price worked.
And what did you like about the area that said, I want to go knock on this guy's door?
We think this Main Street is a really undervalued street. Utah has really wide streets all over the place, and Main Street is just a one lane.
Mm-hmm.
So it brings a little bit more of a pedestrian scale. There's already been a lot of new development here, so we're not pioneering, we're not the first ones in the market.
Yep.
There's great restaurants within a 5 or 10 minute walk. There's a bike lane right on Main Street that takes you right into downtown Salt Lake City. The tracks is about a 10-minute walk this way.
Mm-hmm.
So just lots of different things to attract renters.
And how was the entitlement process? Did you just file your permit, or was it a little more
So we
complicated?
needed to get an entitlement from the planning commission
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit of an additional height and reduced setback. And the neighbors, some of them, not all,
Yeah, of course.
some of them were really upset that we weren't giving a much bigger setback, but there's already a 30-foot park strip setback from the curb to our front door.
Yep.
And what we tried to tell them is, hey, that's a generous setback already. The planning commission unanimously voted to approve it. And sometimes we're hard on neighbors. A lot of times they're upset because of new developments.
It's change.
It's changed. But when people come and see this product and how nice it is, we've actually gotten a lot of compliments from the neighbors.
Myself included. So, and then how did you finance this?
So we financed this in the middle of rates changing.
Yep.
And it was very hard. We had an LOI from a bank, and they had already gone to committee, and then they pulled back from us.
Brutal.
So we had to scramble to go out and find financing. We did find a bank who was really interested in build to rent. It was a strategy of theirs, so it fit us perfectly.
Yep.
We got a 73% loan to cost
Yep.
loan, and then we filled the rest of it with equity from a group out of California and some high net worth individuals.
Okay. And what made you say this is a for rent site versus a for sale site?
So we did for sale 2 blocks away.
Yep.
And
I sold one of them as a realtor.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They sold so fast. So we
Yep.
said to ourselves, wow, there's pent-up demand for this location.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, the reason we went for rent here is because we could find a lot more capital for it.
Yep.
Markets tend to fluctuate on where investors want to put capital.
Yep.
And in the past 3 years, a lot of it has been rental.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see it shift to for sale.
Yep.
Because now there's a ton of pent-up demand for sale.
Yep.
But this could have been both. This could have been either. And that's actually what we like about it, is if we build this and go rental and the values do better, we could sell these individually. We didn't want to go modern. we wanted to do something a little bit more traditional. So we did inset windows. You can see the windows are not flush to the facade. That costs us a little bit more money, but having an inset window really makes a good street presence. The other thing we did is we put headers and sills on the window, which is what you find in the old Baltimore, old Brooklyn townhomes. And then on the two end units, we actually did a lot of interesting casing and work around the windows. You can see we put cornices up on the top of the roof line as well. And the thing that we like about this is we want someone to drive down the street in 20 years and say, was this built yesterday, 10 years ago, 30 years ago? We really wanted to withstand the test of time. We decided to do gas ranges, gas cooking. Mainly because when people move into a home, it feels a little bit better. I love to cook. And I would 100% rather cook with a gas flame than with an electric flame. So it costs a little bit more money to run gas lines through. But for a townhome product that we're trying to make people feel like it's a little bit more of an established home, we thought it was worth the value.
I'm with you on that. So you have the island here, and then is that dishwasher and sink, or how's this layout?
A dishwasher and sink will be here, refrigerator, island here, pantry right here, and then this can be dining likely, and then a big living area with lots of natural light coming in.
I love natty light.
Natty light, baby. So then back here we have washer dryer in the unit, the hall bath, and then this is the secondary bedroom. This is the primary bedroom. Closet space is important, so when people move out of an apartment and they come to a home, they think I want more storage. So we did a really nice walk-in closet, and we actually are doing tile floors and marble surrounds instead of plastic.
That's expensive,
right?
So that's nice.
So we wanted to make people feel like, hey, I'm moving into something, because our target market, and this is something I should say, you have to design a product with the renter in mind. Too many people just design something hoping that someone will come, but we're specifically targeting people who've been living in apartments. They want more space, private garage, but they don't want to move too far out from the city. So we wanted to make them really feel like this is a little bit of a step up from where they're coming, but it's still close to the city.
And I think in 2021 and 2020 and 2019, if you built something, people would come. And there was no discrepancy on rents. It was just going up by 10% every year. But as more supply gets added to the market, I think renters are going to be a little bit more choosy.
Correct.
Where they end up. You hired Bonneville Builders as your general contractor. How did you go about the selection process for that?
So with a 40-unit project, it's kind of a tweener. It's
the missing middle.
It's the missing middle, and there are some really big contractors that this is probably too small for them. But then there are some really small contractors that we like. It was probably a little too big for them. They've done townhomes before, which is what we really liked. And you know this, it all comes down to the team that you get.
Of course.
So we had to make sure we met the team. And in the delay of financing, so when we financed this, rates started going up, so we had to put the project on hold for a little bit.
Of course.
The super that they had assigned to us, they had to put them on another job. So we were feeling nervous. Who are you going to put? And they put a kid, I call him a kid, he's probably in his mid-20s. He's been outstanding.
That's a kid.
And so it's been really fun to see the team that they have and how well we work together.
And how early, did you do this as a design build, or was it a design bid build? How did you structure that?
So we hired an architect, and we were going to go design build. But the construction side of this architect came in with a number that was so much higher than what we could.
Of course, afford. Always happens.
So we reached out, we made a call to Bonneville, and look, sometimes this happens, right? You were relying on a sub who wasn't giving you good numbers. We reached out to Bonneville, and they did a pricing exercise really quickly. They came in with the price that we needed, and then we went with them. We started construction. We found gas tanks buried under the ground. Now we did a phase 1, a phase 2. We poked holes, and nothing. We didn't find anything. And this happens sometimes, not until you actually go dig the site. Now, luckily, these tanks had already attenuated. We called up the DEQ immediately. They gave us a no further action letter. But this is part of the risk of development is you never know what's in there until you open it up.
You might strike gold or you might strike gas cans.
So another thing that we think is important is when we design our units, we try to use space as best as we can.
Yep.
And the road here turns and it leaves a little bit of space here that we said, let's make it an amenity.
Yep.
So we're going to be building a hot tub, a sauna, a cold shower, and then over here we'll have a pizza oven, and back here we have a dog wash where there's just a little bit of space. Now some people may say this is all tight and crammed, but in a city space is at a premium.
Yep.
So the way we thought about it is if someone wanted a huge, cool amenity complex, they'd go to Harriman.
Yep.
They'd go to Eagle Mountain.
Yep.
But there are people who want the neighborhood as their amenity. Well, let's still try to fit in some amenities.
Yep.
So, for anyone who's thinking about real estate, be as thoughtful as you can with every space on your site.
Thanks for joining. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks.